So I miss like just like going on like a 30-minute run, or I miss putting my hair up. I miss walking on the beach during vacation, like feeling your toes in the sand.
The laying down part is probably the super complicated thing, and it's like, especially when I rent cars, sometimes, man, like the where you put in the gas tank, it's like up here, man. It's like a workout.
So I guess the people behind us just took a picture of us, which is fantastic to catch on film.
I would zoom in and I would look and I would go all the way around and I would get stuck and I would look at different aspects of my face and just feel so repulsive and so disgusting that I just, at that point, would come right back out and then feel the need to go right back in.
My name is Daniel Ritchie.
Dianne Vidkis.
Angela Singletary.
My name is Robin Stern, and EveryBODY.
EveryBODY.
And EveryBODY.
And EveryBODY matters.
Come on, Raleigh. Hey. Hey. Go potty. Go potty, dude. Raleigh. Go potty. I prayed for patience and God gave me a dog. All right, we ready? I don't always make my wife sit in the back seat. This might be the only time you've ever sat in the back seat of the car, but this is.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, this is.
Go on, driver.
Yes, I know. I'm her chauffeur, also during the week, in case you guys didn't know. But no, this is my awesome wife, Heather. Man, we've been married 16 years this July. So I try to cart her around as her chauffeur whenever I can, though. Nobody caught the fact that I had a disability. 2 ultrasounds, all sorts of, just prenatal lead up. Nobody knew that I was going to come into the world missing both of my arms. And so the moment that the doctor's holding me there in the delivery room, it's just like this complete and total shock. Just shoots across the delivery room. And then in that moment too, like not only am I armless, but I was lifeless. I wasn't breathing. I wasn't moving. The doctor very quickly, he tried to see if he could feel a pulse on me and he couldn't find a pulse. And so this doctor just holds me up so my dad could see that I didn't have arms. And then he asked my dad, "Do you want us to let him go?" That's my welcome to the world, sort of moment is this doctor looking at me going, why bother? But for me, it also set the stage for a dad who, from that moment forward, went to war for me. Because in that moment, my dad just simply said, "That's my boy, and you're going to do whatever it is that you can do to try to bring him back." And obviously we see that the doctors were able to do that. But yeah, Dad had my back from that moment forward. That's for sure.
So my plan is that we're gonna get this lift and we're gonna go down to Canton, Massachusetts, and go to my paralysis gym called Journey Forward. Actually, I really miss grocery shopping, but now I just do Instacart, which is very convenient, and Grubhub and DoorDash. But I do miss going grocery shopping, or just going to the mall, or doing my own errands, picking up sending mail or a package, or stupid things like that. But I don't do those things on my own because I'm scared I'm gonna get stuck somewhere, or need help and end up being helpless. And that's another thing. It's sometimes going out, I would be fine in the grocery store, but having people stare at me because I'm struggling getting something off the shelf, it's just I don't know. And some people are just trying to be nice and they're like, "Can I help you with that?" And I'm just no, I want to do it by myself and I don't want any help. But I understand you're just trying to be nice, but I got it. Well, I just always remember growing up playing lacrosse with my sisters, watching them play lacrosse, I guess my best memories in high school and growing up revolve around sports. Was a big soccer player and lacrosse player, and then both my sisters were also soccer and lacrosse players. So I just remember watching them and wanting to be like them. And my oldest sister went on to be an orthodontist, and my middle sister went on to be a nurse practitioner, and I went on to be a physician assistant. So we're all in the medical field. That's like what we know, you know, making people feel better. So I kind of knew that was my calling, I'd say. I remember it was just like my dream job. I loved surgery, and I loved the OR, I loved the hospital, rounding on patients. It was definitely a hard job. The hours were long. It was nights, evenings, days. But I liked I don't like doing the same thing every day. I've never been like that kind of person, so I liked like every day was different. So just had finished a shift. I think it was a Sunday night. So I worked, I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was off Monday. So I was like, finally, I have like a break. And I remember going home, taking this long shower, sat on my couch, looked out the window, saw the sunset. I was like, I need a better view of this. And I went up to the rooftop and was just watching the sunset by myself, just enjoying the fresh air, summer air. And then when I came down, I just slipped on the first step and fell off the ladder, 12 feet. So it wasn't a huge fall, but I fell right on my back, and I snapped my neck at the C6 level. So, well, this is the hospital I did 2 months of inpatient rehab at, and then I moved across the street to this building over there, and I was discharged in October, so it was still like, it was fall weather, but I would come out here and roll around the boardwalk and just like kind of think sometimes, you know, I could just roll myself right in and that would be it. I mean, it's not like sink or swim, I know I would sink, so those thoughts definitely crossed my mind, like right when I got out, and it was just a very lonely, hard time. But we got through those, and now I'm like, maybe I'd swim. You never know.
So at the depths of my pain and when I was really symptomatic with body dysmorphic disorder, this device was my enemy. This is, to anybody else, just a normal mirror, decorative mirror. To me, this was my barometer of how I saw myself and whether or not I could function and go out into the world. So I would step close. Now, if this was in a bathroom, I would probably sit on it. And so this motion of being on top of the mirror like this, like literally, I have no perception of myself when you look. That's what I try to tell my clients. Like, you have no perception. Like, I'm on it, like this. And then I'm not able to like see myself. It's like a distorted view of yourself. And that is how multiple times a day, hours a day, was going in and out of the bathroom, in and out of mirrors, catch any mirror, like, and it was just torture. Body dysmorphic disorder there is a neurological component to it. And so that means, and they've done studies on this, functional MRI studies, that my brain does not pick up how I process my image. So how I'm looking at, I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know and I can't know. And so I don't have the ability, because my pathways in my brain and how my brain lights up is different from somebody that doesn't have BDD. My spatial processing is different. And like I said, to this day, I don't really focus on the mirror. I can't focus on the mirror. I'll lose everything if this is my life. I just can't speak volumes to that if I focus on what I look like, I could lose my life. Not just my day-to-day life. I could lose my life. It could take me out. And I'm not willing to go there. So I've accepted that I don't know what I look like. It sucks. It's not fair. I wish I didn't have this, but I also understand to try to figure out what it is that I look like, I could lose everything. My earliest memories were being a happy child, just really living life, always smiling and dancing around. My mom always says I used to dance by the refrigerator. Me and my brother used to put on dance shows. So from what I've been told in some of my earliest memories are me being a very happy child. And I always just felt like I belonged until I started to get made fun of for my hair. And then the summer going into 6th grade, I went to sleepaway camp. And I was tortured that whole summer. And I would be sitting on buses and kids would be making fun of my hair. They would say that it was an afro. They would sing songs, and it was really, really difficult. But I never talked about it with anybody because I was ashamed. I felt like a completely awful little kid, like something was so wrong with me that like I was chosen to be like every single day to be the center of like these verbal attacks. And it just made me feel on some level, which is ultimately what I struggled with, like I just don't even really deserve to be here and I'm just not enough and there's just something inherently wrong with me. And then somewhere in college is when I started to notice that I had thoughts about myself that I felt that I was just repulsive looking and disgusting and so different looking than everybody else. And I just was like, okay, this is just my brain. Like, I guess I am this way. Like, I guess I am really ugly. I guess I am really disgusting. And I remember every time walking to class from my dorm room, like looking at every rear view, like mirror of a car, and just looking at every kind of reflective surface. And then I had a breakout on my face and it led me to not be able to leave my home for 30 days. I just literally couldn't leave my house. I was supposed to go back to be a first semester senior. I had to take the semester off from college. My parents didn't know what to do with me. I was on and off medications because my psychiatrist was just taking me on and off. She didn't know what to do. And it just led me to this whole spiral and I did not know what was going on. And I still couldn't put it into words what I was feeling, but I just literally could not leave my home.
Hey guys, this is Angela Singletary and I have achondroplasia dwarfism and I am so excited to show you guys a day in my life. Come on in, y'all. So this is my youngest. This is Angela Jr. and she is 8. What do you like to be called? Malika. Okay, you want to say hi? You want to tell them who this is?
This is my dog.
This is my oldest, my 13-year-old, Aiden Rain Thomas. Say hi. Hi. You gonna do the dishes? Show us what you do. She is our dishes girl. I tried to switch chores with DL, and she wanted to keep doing the dishes. So we have my pride and joy. This is DL, and he is tall. He is average height. He is the only boy and the only tall one. So he carries a lot of weight on these shoulders, but he is our protector, our lover, and our strength, and I'm so grateful for him. You want to say hi?
Hi.
So, we have the stools in here, which is definitely an accommodation, and it's an important one. We are lucky enough to have front-loading washer and dryer. Using a top-loading washer is a challenge, not impossible, but you have to get used to standing on your head a little bit. So we're really grateful to have this washer and dryer. It's still a challenge at times, and I do get my tall son to do most of the laundry, but I'm going to show you guys what it's like for me to do laundry. So This 3-step ladder is necessary to be able to reach up there. And this is the laundry basket. So we will climb on up and we will take things out and hope they land in the basket. Then we get to take these clothes and shoot them into the dryer. You know, sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. Here, let me show them what you got going on in here. So in here are some extensions for pedals. They just simply latch on to the existing pedal, and it just gives her the ability to push the gas and brake. So really that's it. You know, there's not a whole lot of accommodations. I'll show you what we do in the trunk. Hold on, one more go. There we go. So growing up, you know, my mom was a little person, and her parents were not. So, which is the most common. 80% of children with dwarfism are born to average height parents. And so for me, being a little person, with my mom being a little person and my sister being a little person, it wasn't like a thing that really stood out much. But I didn't really know it until when we were in kindergarten. We took a field trip, and it was at the mall, and I don't remember what for. But, and this was back in the day with cable TV, right? Netflix didn't exist. And so the news was there. And that evening, we watched it to see ourselves. And that's when I saw me walking with my classmates in kindergarten. And that's when I saw the difference. Like, I knew I needed steps to reach the water fountain, but that was just kind of, I'm shorter than everyone else, but not so different. Like, I didn't really understand the limb length difference and all that stuff until I saw that video and that news clip. But I very much remember being, oh, okay, I'm that different.
We're getting more stairs than normal.
Yeah. What are you getting?
I'm probably gonna get the steak bowl and Mexican Coke.
That's what I always get.
All right, there we go. Awesome, thank y'all. You're welcome. Have a good one. In meeting your like childhood friends for the first time.
I do remember when I was working at the gym in college, and it was a girl that I worked with, and I told her that you and I were engaged, and she said, "Oh, that's cute. He'll be a great first husband." And my jaw kind of dropped.
I'm a starter husband.
Yeah, and I was like, "No, he's like the one guy."
Yeah. I forgot about that.
But other than that one comment, yeah, it was all support. Like, my friends were excited, they were pumped, they adapted to you really quickly, and we had some mutual friends in common too.
Yeah.
So I think that helped.
So I'm curious, am I still a good first husband?
You're a great first husband. I'll let the second know about you.
Yeah. He's got a high bar to clear.
Yeah, he does. I think what I loved about you as a dad is that you didn't hold me back. You didn't hold me hostage as a mom to my kids when I started having kids, because I think a lot of people would think that because you don't have arms that you couldn't take care of the kids, you couldn't change the diapers.
Right.
And that just wasn't the case. Like, you figured out a way, as you have with everything in life. You figured out a way to do everything.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I mean, you're not an enabler at all to anyone, chief of which is me. But then I think too, it's like, as much as you're not an enabler, it's like you're a challenger too. You know, it's like you've challenged me from moment one. Like, yes, in the whole armless thing, but it's like you've challenged me as a man, challenged me as how I run a small business, like everywhere along the way. you've always pushed and challenged me to just like not hang back, not be complacent, just like constantly stretch. And I don't know, I think, I mean, clearly I need that, you know, in every
But
facet.
do you like that?
Sometimes, but yeah, no,
would,
I need it though.
There's our ride over here. Okay. Sorry to make you wait.
No problem. No problem at all.
All right. Ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. We good?
Yep.
Hello.
Oh, spasms.
I actually like that spasm because that spasm puts you right where you need to be. Look how straight you are right now.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're completely fired up.
All right.
See what I mean?
Yeah, we'll take it.
She's like,
All
okay.
right. So hips are straight.
Yep. I like the hips. How do you feel?
I'm a little, feel like
Oh, come on, Di. You just went right back to the no-no spot.
I did. I don't know why.
Now bring your shoulders, you know, make your adjustment. There you go. Good.
This is Jude. This is another one of our specialized trainers. And we're gonna go on the local map. He's gonna get me all set up with this harness, and basically then it'll just like suspend me in the air. They'll strap on the robot, bring me down, put weight through my legs, and yeah. It's just nice to like stand tall again, you know? And like I do a lot of standing, but this is like, I don't know, it just feels different. And like to have your legs moving while you're doing it, it's hard to explain. But like here, I have to like pay a lot of attention, and sometimes I like trip up without even realizing it. So it's actually harder than, if I'm doing it correctly, it's hard. And takes a lot of focus. But sometimes it's just nice to relax and let the machine do the work.
And it's ironic, I go back to photos, and do you want me to get photos? So this is Happy Robin before I was bullied. This is my brother, he's 3.5 years older, and this is me. And it just kind of was our childhood. We played together, we pretended we were like athletes or musicians, and this is before the chaos erupted where I somehow took on an identity based on appearance. So looking at this, it's sometimes hard to see because this is just a happy, kind of unaffected child who knew nothing what was to come. Again, I think it progressively got worse. So I still feel like I had like an innocence in me. And I don't know if I have a photo here that takes that away. This picture is our family. This is my mom and my aunt, my grandmother, and my cousin and me. And I think, again, I was still having this like disconnect with like I am being bullied for my appearance, but like I am loved by my family. And so I was still somewhat of a happy child. This was in high school. This was kind of after the bullying. And I look at this photo now and I could objectively say I think it's a good picture, but like I know deep down inside, like when this picture was being taken, like I just felt pretty insignificant and felt like not enough. It takes me back to a lot of missed parts of life. I sometimes get hard on myself, like how did I let this disorder take me out, even though I know so much as to how it takes you out, right? I don't want my from 9 to like 25 to just be these like horrible memories. I know that there was good within it, and I don't want that to define me. I don't want every experience of that moment, because they weren't all horrible. But it is important for me to know and to own my struggle with it so that I know that this can't be where I go back to.
So we are going to our local neighborhood market, Walmart. We do love this store. Being a little person in a smaller town means that everybody knows you. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you know everybody. So, you know, it's likely that we will see somebody that will say, hi, how are you? we are a friendly community just in general. So that's another thing. But, you know, we might also encounter a little bit of ignorance. That's certainly something that happens. It could be pointing, laughing, trying to take a picture. It could be staring, or, you know, any of those kinds of things. It doesn't always happen, but it can. So, you know, we shall see what happens in here. Woo!
Which one?
All right. No shit. So things like this have to go down here. Now, mind you, when I had 2 babies under 3, I had a carriage in here and a baby in here. And so that was always fun, having to talk to people about that. Oh, I didn't put all the way down. If we put it in here, we wouldn't be able to reach it. So I guess the people behind us just took a picture of us, which is fantastic to catch on film. So a lot of times there's things we can't reach, and if there's nobody around to help, then we just have to do it ourselves. So it's really quite simple. Just climb on up and get it down. Also, you can sometimes use things to get things. So you could use something like this and knock it down like that. So you really hone your catching skills with these kinds of things. So the tricks of the trade don't exactly come natural. They don't come easy. But when you have an LP mom, it's a lot easier because you just simply watch what she does and then you end up doing it yourself.
Right. Yep.
So without having an electronic back door, you have to have something to be able to get the door down. And sometimes it takes more than one go, but sometimes we're lucky and it goes out all at once. Woo! All right. That's fun. I'm gonna need tissue. In addition to the complications, difficulties that I had as a little person growing up, I did have complications in my childhood with both of my parents were alcoholics and my dad was abusive. He battled a lot internally, I can see now as an adult. But he killed himself when I was 15. And that was the third attempt. You know, being my sister's protector because she had such severe disabilities and we did have such needs in our household. And I had to just make sure that she was okay. Was heavy. And then I had a lot of loneliness as a child. In junior high, I didn't really have any friends like near me. So there were times that I can recall where I just felt like, not that I wanted to kill myself, but just like that life wasn't worth living. Like, what the hell why? But there was just so much on me between being a little person and trying to fit in and find my way, and then having my sister, and then honestly my mom. Like, I wanted to make sure she was okay too after my dad died. But truly, that in the end, it was for the best. As strange as that may sound, because, you know, he was the reason my mom was drinking. So she was able to resolve that and get sober. I think my grandpa, well, I know my grandpa was my keystone, and he was the one that kept me going, because whenever it got too bad, whenever the cops got called, whenever things were too rough, I could call him and he would come. We often lived with him when they were separated. So, and he was always like my foundation. So I did have him, and then I took care of Cindy. So those were the things that kept me going. But then once I got older, my mom got sober, and then she could take care of Cindy. Then I got a car, and after that it was over. You know, I was able to live my life. And I did. I got a job, I got a car, and I lived my life, and it was a good life.
So this is my least favorite thing to do from day to day, or I guess week to week, is getting gas at the gas station. As I'm sure y'all will see here in a second, it's like gymnastics to get gas in the car. So yeah, and sometimes people freak out because they think I like pass out because I have to lay down for a second. So yeah, it's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
No games. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Official breakfast of March Madness.
The laying down part is probably the super complicated thing, and it's like, especially when I rent cars, sometimes, man, like where you put in the gas tank, it's like up here, man. It's like a workout. Hey, but I didn't. Yeah, man, you can get like literally everything under the sun at this place.
We love Wegmans.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, the walking in is the last normal thing I do on the trip to the grocery store, because it's even like pushing the grocery cart is a wee bit of a task.
Are we getting a grocery cart?
Do you want thin sliced or normal?
Just get the normal, but get the sharp cheddar. So we need some of this at the house too. Yeah, that's the one I want.
Okay. And then, where's the bread?
Bread is up this way. I think the bread we get's on this side.
I got them honey wheat, so I'm the favorite parent. Do you want both bread in the same bag, Heather?
Yeah, you can put both loaves in the same bag.
What? What am I doing wrong?
$1.99.
Moment. All right, baby, following you. We'll actually let you push the cart now. How about that?
I get to push the cart?
No. So it's like.
No, you do. You hit the button.
No, so when we're at the house, I get the ice scraper that you leave in the corner of the garage, and I grab it. Yeah.
You can hit that.
You
can hit that.
Ah, crap. Hey. I'm glad I had stretched out the hammies. Yeah, growing up, some of the I think most difficult things that I had to learn how to do that I don't think people would expect. I mean, it's like, you know, for me, just doing everyday things like opening doors, figuring out how to twist a doorknob, open it, figuring out how to, you know, stick a crayon or stick a pen in between my toes and write my name. You know, even just good old Southern boy type things like figuring out how to fish, like how to bait a hook with my toes, how to cast, how to you know, run a lawnmower, run a weed eater. I mean, it's like what I think a lot of people would just think it's like redneck expectations. I had to, I guess, get a little creative with trying to figure out how to do those things with my feet and with my legs. You know, it's looking back at my life from moment one, for a doctor to say, do you want us to let him go? For my parents to tell me that story, I was probably 9 or 10 years old when they told me the story of my birth and what the doctor said. And I remember being a kid going, wait, there was somebody that thought that I shouldn't be here because I didn't have arms. And that was, I don't think it landed on my heart like as a gut punch quite yet. But then it was, you know, you get a little older, you become more aware of just how different you are. And that now that there's people that think you're disposable, there's people that think you're not good enough, there's people that think you don't fit in, that weighs on you. You know, that weighs on you, that it's like, no matter what you do, you're not good enough for some people. You know, you're never gonna fit in. That's just like this constant nagging reality that can just hang out in the back of your mind. It hung out in the back of my mind for a really long time.
And then close. So I can open and close my hands like this much, but I can open and close them when I supinate and pronate, because those were how the nerves were transferred. But eventually I'll be able to open and close without supinating and pronating. So I thought this was something that I could use to just practice visualizing, and it's more of like practice my mind opening and closing my hands. So so much of this hand recovery is just neuroplasticity now, and having kind of like the nerves are transferred so I can move them, but in order to move them on my own, I just have to practice, you know, visualizing, opening, so fully opening and fully closing. I'm gonna have to bend it like this. And I think it's been helping. But yeah, it's a cool little toy. Luckily, I still have all my upper body. I can move my arms. I can move my arms above my head, which is, I consider myself very lucky to be able to do that. But I do not have any finger function really. So that's, you know, why that makes me a quadriplegic. At first I was just like, I'm not going back to work on Tuesday. I'm gonna have to call my boss. And I actually called her as soon as I woke up from surgery. I was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm in the hospital and I'm not gonna make it to work for a while. And so it's like I knew I was gonna be in the hospital for a long time. I didn't really know how long, but I knew that my life was gonna look a lot different, and it was gonna be a long road until you know, I got some normalcy back. And then after surgery, my mom came in, and I was still pretty drugged up, but I was just, when I saw her, I was so relieved and just happy. And she took a video of me, and I was just like smiling, and because I just was like, okay, I'm still alive, and my mom is here, and I see her, and I can hold her hand, and I was just like, and then I remember she was like, yeah, you were just like a chatterbox. I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, you just wouldn't stop talking. And I think I was just like so relieved, you know? And then after that, I started to like deteriorate a little bit. And then it got physically really hard and mentally really hard. And every time, I think my next visitor was my sister. And like I said, my sisters are like two of my best friends. So I just like broke down when I saw her. I felt terrible putting them through this because I saw the pain and the like scared fear on their face. And I felt so bad that like I was causing their pain.
Okay, so we are gonna go back to where I was bullied. We're gonna go back to the scene of the crime. This was in 7th grade when I was bullied by my friend group. So I'm gonna take you back to the field where everything went down every day after lunch. It's funny, I've driven by it so many times and I try to, from like a therapist perspective, to just undo kind of the damage that this experience has done for me, because I think it is such a direct correlation to what my BDD became for me. I had a group of friends that went to ice skating lessons and didn't include me, and that was the same time they made fun of my hair. So my actual fear with BDD was people wouldn't want to be around me, and that's actually what happened to me when I was in 7th grade. So right by the corner of the tennis courts over there, every day after lunch, we would all walk out, and I would be with my group of girlfriends, and they would say, let's all sit in a circle and play Duck, Duck, Goose. Who plays Duck, Duck, Goose when you're 12 years old? But this is their way of torturing me. This is their way of bullying me. And so they made fun of my hair. They called me bush, shrub, and fro. And they would say, today we're gonna have the topic be nature or the forest. And they would sit us around in 8 girls of people, and they would go duck, duck, or whatever, and then they would go to me and they would go bush. And I was like, run around and catch, like, obviously, it still has an impact on me. And these are things that I try to let go of, because not everyone that's bullied lets it define them. And obviously knowing what disorder I ended up getting, and knowing that sitting on a green grass was gonna ultimately become the pathway to a disorder that was gonna take so much of my life. You can't help but sometimes be angry, because you can't help but sometimes think, would this have happened to me if this didn't happen? I don't have the answer. I know that there's a biological component. I know that I was predisposed to this, but being bullied for how I looked, being excluded and excluded from things because of what I looked like, is exactly how I felt in the depths of my disorder. And so this place is the beginning of where I lost my sense of self and where I became my appearance and where I lost my innocence, my ability to be okay with myself, my ability to feel like I was enough.
When I was little, or younger, I feel like I kind of went into the stores with like blinders on and didn't really pay attention to everybody else, because then I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But I do know, I know that Daddy was very forward about, things, take a picture last longer was his favorite phrase.
Right.
But, and you were, you would always correct people and such, but tell me a little bit about how you felt when we would go to the grocery store and how you navigated different things from your experiences as an LP,
right.
Because an average height person mom doesn't have that firsthand experience, and so you do. So how do you pull from that? How did you feel like at the grocery store?
You mean like when you walk in, and like you have your child with you? Yeah, I would, I'd usually try to keep talking with you.
Yeah.
That way, especially if somebody was, being, an adult mainly, was pointing and, trying to show everybody, hey, look.
Yeah.
I would try to talk with you and, and
distract.
But also tell you, that they don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
That they grew up, that they never had seen somebody that looked like us, and that they had grown up being different. That they didn't realize that they were doing that.
Yeah. I do remember that. It is interesting being an LP, raising LPs, because I don't want to over-inform them, because I don't want to put fear or nervousness in them.
Oh, no doubt.
But we do want to protect them, and because we know, we try to prepare. So there seems like there's that fine line.
Right.
So what would your advice be to either an LP mom or an average height mom raising an LP kid? You know, you have way more experience than I do, and you're just as hands-on with them too. So what would you say to them?
I would say, raise them like you would any other child. Make sure that, you socialize, you get out and about, and you don't say, oh, just because you're small, you can't do this. No, let them try it. Always let them try it. Because honey, my mom was average height, and I'll never forget, I didn't realize that I was as short as I was till I was like 6 or 7. Because
what made you realize that?
Me and a friend of mine were cutting up, and we were talking about robbing a bank, and the mom goes, well, yeah, like I wouldn't notice you when you're robbing the bank. And then I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I guess, you would. And that's when it really, and I talked with some people about that, and I realized it's because she raised me just like she did my brothers. We get out there and do everything the same thing. And, let them get out there and play with the kids and have a good time. Words can't explain how proud I am of you, baby. You have you superseded what I thought you would be. I knew you would be awesome, because I can remember when you and I would cut up being young, and you were little, and people just were amazed by you, and you have come to become this woman and this mom that is awesome. You raise your kids. We each learned from our parent, and you learned what not to do from me,
and they'll learn what not to do from me.
And so, and they're awesome, and I love it when I see your friends with you, and they just beam whenever they see you, and they just praise you, and they're always telling me how proud they are of you being your friend, and I am so proud of being your mom. And people tell me, oh, I saw Angie. I said, yeah.
Well, I am this way because of you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, baby. I love you so much.
If I had arms for a day and could do anything that day, I think the first thing I would do would be to, it's like I love football. I have a 9-year-old boy that loves football. So we're definitely going to go in the backyard, play two-hand touch for a good little bit. And then I have a 6-year-old girl that I would love nothing more than to be able to pick up and just bear hug and snuggle. And then I've never held my wife's hand, like hand in hand. I've held my wife's hand with my foot. So yeah, that one might be cool too, to hold Heather's hand, give Heather a big old bear hug. Yeah, beyond that, it's like I don't see myself like, oh, I'm gonna go rock climbing, or I'm gonna go in the professional arm wrestling circuit. It's like none of that. But I think those three would be the big three, that's for sure.
Re-excited my nervous system for 3 hours is kind of like enough. Like, I know that that's gonna give me like gains later on in the week, because it's gonna get me stronger, and I'm putting weight through my legs. I know that is gonna help like reduce foot drop, and like I kind of put a reason to everything, maybe, like, and like when I'm working out my upper body, I'm like, okay, well, these are gonna help my transfers later in the week. I'm gonna be able to transfer into bed easier. It's not gonna be as hard. I'm not gonna be as exhausted. Okay, so maybe I can now like start practicing taking off my own pants or putting on my own pants, because I know like I just worked out at Journey Forward, so I know I'm stronger. So it's like you're like convincing yourself, but it actually like does work because I am stronger, and everything in life now is easier. And that's a result of like working hard in the gym, So when I was in the hospital, I tried sitting at the edge of the bed, and I could only sit there for like, literally, I remember like 30 seconds without having to pass out, like at the edge of the bed. And I still had like someone supporting my upper body so I wouldn't fall over. And now I'm able to like stand and lock one knee and, be up there for, I could stand for like an hour sometimes without feeling like I'm gonna pass out or do pass out. So the gains and the progress is very incremental, but it's there, and I have to like remind myself and look back and be like, okay, I wish I could walk and I wish I could stand on my own or not pass out, but a year ago I couldn't even sit at the edge of the bed. So like, just be, I guess, thankful for what you have recovered. I feel like I'm at a spot right now where I'm like, okay, I can start like living my life again. Like I think I have things figured out. Like I think I can get around this world. I know who to ask for help. Like I'm never gonna be able to return the favor or say thank you enough to the people that supported me and like how much they helped me. Like whether that be like, money or just a text or a letter or, everything that others have done. I want to I'm never going to be able to repay them. So how am I going to give back or pay it forward at least? And this is one of my ways to do that as well. So thank you guys as well.
But I forgive the people that did it, and I forgive myself for tolerating it. And I can only hope and tell people that don't let your past, you can fight for your life, and you don't have to be a victim of things that have hurt you. And mental health issues isn't something that you have to be ashamed of. It's something that everybody deals with. And I'm not ashamed, and I'm no longer gonna hide behind anything. I'm gonna speak about what it is that I have, because I don't want people to feel the way I felt, and I don't want people to feel alone in their struggle with body dysmorphic disorder, because you can live. And I hope that I can show that I'm an example of that. I am not a perfect human being. I do have struggles, but it doesn't take me out the way it did, and I don't need to be that little girl anymore. And I let her go because it doesn't serve me anymore. We all have, whatever we're dealing with, we all have to somehow accept it. I accept what has happened to me. I cannot be angry at it. I cannot be angry at the years that I've lost to this disease. I cannot be angry at, I am so blessed and I'm so fortunate. I am a mother. I am an amazing therapist that I give back to my clients each and every day. And I do feel like I am a good citizen, and I give back to the community, and I advocate, and I provide, educational information for the International OCD Foundation, and I do feel like I give back. You would have asked me what defined me 15, 20 years ago. It was my skin. That was it. It was my appearance. Who is Robin? Robin is skin. That's not me anymore. But it's taken a lot to get there.
My Christ moment of all things is at a youth group dodgeball lock-in. You can only imagine what an armless man at a dodgeball lock-in, how much fun I had that night. So I was beaten to death mostly. And then halfway through the night, youth pastor gets up, talks about God's love, as I'm literally icing my face. And so the night carries on, dodgeball kicks back up, I sit out. And God uses this conversation with a youth pastor who just sees this armless guy sitting by himself, in just this forlorn situation. And he just slowly starts to talk to me. And he senses my insecurities and I think just my level of being done. And he spends the next hour, probably even more than an hour. And he just very faithfully goes through scripture and talks about how God shows his love for me, and how God had made me, and how God had sent his son for me, and how God uses even the worst of me to show the world his comfort and his grace. That's what changed everything. That was the moment where, I trusted in and rested in Jesus as my everything, and that changed the game. That was the moment that gave me a touchstone to move forward with. I knew I had a purpose then, and I knew that I had an opportunity to speak to hope. And then I think to meet an amazing girl, you know, there in college, to get married, I mean, literally, it's like we go on our honeymoon. It's our first week of marriage, and we start in marriage and in ministry the same week. To have this girl along on the ride with me, and to be able to begin to speak life into teenagers, because I started in ministry as a student pastor. So I think to be able to speak life into students, where once a student pastor once spoke life into mine, to see things start to become full circle, to see things start to become an opportunity to be a vessel of hope and grace. Man, it definitely, that spot in my life, that was a sweet spot. That was, I think, what set the stage for so many of the things and the ministry opportunities to come that God gave.
I definitely experienced like every emotion of grief. I think like first I was angry, shameful, then I was depressed. Finally, you know, I did get to a point of regaining hope. And I don't really know when I regained that. I think it was like acceptance and hope kind of finally, I think acceptance was first, and I accepted like it to a fault, where I was just like, I'm never gonna walk, so whatever. Like, I accept it. And then I got to a point of hope, and I'm like, you know what? There is a chance I can walk again. Like, I can't give up on that. There's still a lot of research out there being done, and new articles, new studies being done. There is hope still that I could walk again.
So for me, I feel like body dysmorphic disorder, even though I was diagnosed with it almost 20 years ago, is still so very misunderstood. And I think when I got into my 30s, kind of getting a sense of my own and getting to a better place in recovery, realizing like I am more than my appearance. I realized that I was smart, and that I was caring, and that I was a good daughter, I was a good friend. I had things that I could give back, and I was a guidance counselor, and so I knew that I wanted to go back and do more work. And so I got my MSW, and I knew I wanted to be a therapist. And when I went back for my master's in 2010, I knew that I wanted to become a body dysmorphic disorder therapist. I knew that my story and my ability to understand someone can help them and give them life when, even though I got help, I could give them life on a whole new level because I truly understood what they were dealing with. Because I have it.
Up until now, I've always found my value in what I give to others and what I can pour into others. And so what has kept me going through any tough time has always been that someone else needs me. And so now it's my kids, but it's also me. But, you know, it was Cindy for the most part, my mom. But as an adult, once I divorced, I became a different person. I healed so many childhood traumas and traumas from the divorce. I found value in myself as I am, not when I'm at a certain weight, not when I'm, you know, being validated by others, but simply for who I am.
My challenge to you is going to be for you to realize no matter what situation you're in, whether you've got all your limbs, none of your limbs, whether you've just had nothing but joy and happiness or frustration and brokenness, God can use your story for His glory. God can use your story and your brokenness to apply comfort and hope to people that desperately need it.
If you've gone through a traumatic event and have experienced loss, because I have lost my life, you know, my old life is gone. And if your old life, you feel as though it's gone, just know that tomorrow is a new day, and every day is gonna get a little better. You might have some downfalls, The trajectory is never straight, but it's uphill, and we'll get better, and I'm always here if you need it. Someone's always there. There is hope.
If you've ever struggled with body image, I can't emphasize enough that you are more than just what you see. You are more than your perception of appearance. You have other aspects of your life that make you up as a human being. Do not let them define you. There is help, there is support. I never thought that I would be where I am today. I have a healthy, beautiful child. I never thought that I would be a mom. I never thought that I would be able to give back to this world. You have the ability at any point to change your narrative and to change your story, and you have the ability to get help. And I can't preface that enough. Please don't stay alone in this.
To anyone who is struggling, who feels the weight of society, and who just doesn't really have anyone to connect to or reach out to, I really would love for you to dig deep and find a group or someone that you can connect with to be able to see yourself and be understood. There are different opportunities out there, and I ask you to stay strong because we need you. We absolutely need you in this fight. And I know that it's hard, and I know that it's tiring, and sometimes you have to take a break and let the others pick up the slack. So if that is what you need, then please do so, but do not give up.